So, first game. French, then your opponent threw in c6, which is definitely not the move that we expected. And we are just aware of the fact that this is bad chess out of the opponent, and we already have the upper hand. Right?
Right.
Goody. You play knight f3. Very good, because bad chess gets beaten by normal chess, which is just center development. Now your opponent, he plays knight f6. And as soon as you see this, you must immediately formulate your first candidate move, because this move walked into something that we love doing all the time, every time. What is the move that immediately jumps to your head when you see this?
I mean, it could be kicking the knight.
Not that
Feeding
it
the
could
knight.
be, it should be. If your first gut instinct here is not to play e5, we need to work on rewiring your chess. e5 every day of the week, because it kicks a developed knight while gaining space. It doesn't mean that that is the best move 100 times out of 100, but it certainly means that that's your first go-to. And as it happens to be, it's a bloody brilliant move. Because now the knight has to go again. If it goes to e4, you get to kick it again with a developing move. If it goes to d5, you get to kick it again, gaining even more space. And because of this is proven correct, therefore every move you play instead of e5, by definition, is inferior. I refrain from the word bad, because they aren't, but they are inferior. You are not doing any more the best you could, and it's in your control. So knight c3, I would say here is second best. No worries there. Bishop b4 played. Now this move hangs your pawn on e4. Right?
Yes.
Now we are down to two very sensible moves, which are still e5 and bishop d3.
Right.
What's the issue here with bishop g5?
You still hang the e4 pawn.
What do you mean? Isn't the knight pinned?
Ah, right. Well, the issue with that is that they just kick the bishop.
Right, I have got about 10 YouTube videos dedicated to the concept that you should never ever ever create a pin without first checking what you will do if they kick you. That's the only thing you need to check every time you create a pin is that, hang on, what if they kick me? Because you never really want to take, because then the purpose was not the pin, then the purpose was to take the knight, which is a totally different story, and we can't retain the pin, because then we lose the pawn. So here you played very careless chess, by playing a move that looks good on surface, but in reality, you didn't do your due diligence. We don't create pins without checking if we can keep it or not. That's it. And on that note, bishop d3 or e5. My preference is e5, of course, because I like to play aggressive chess and I still want to kick it, and then you just break the pin and that's it. And then you go bishop d3, and then you go knight d4 if they allow it, and it's golden. I already see, by the way, like you are already gearing up for Greek gift mate. Like it's literally on.
Yeah.
Unless they play something that stops it. Bishop d3 next. Sorry, bishop h7 check. Game over. And you see it already here. I already have another video about this on my YouTube channel of how good tacticians, they don't see the Greek gift popping up on their board in this position when the opponent goes like bishop, I don't know, let's say they go, I don't know, knight here. And they go, oh, wow, look at it, surprise, I have a Greek gift, yay. And then they go for it. That doesn't happen. Good players see the Greek gift in this position here. And they work toward it. So they play e5, they play bishop d2, and they already know that if you castle, they will play bishop d3. Which doesn't mean that they are playing for cheapies. It merely means that their horizon in terms of the position now and the tactical possibilities that will arise later on is a lot broader. They see further into the future in terms of attacking patterns and tactical patterns. All right, bishop g5 played. Bishop h, yes, so we drop the pawn here. Now, I still don't hate your position because we have got quite decent development and your opponent has played a fair few wonky pawn moves. Queen d3, yeah, I approve. d5. Actually, give me just a second here. Is there a way we can get very cute here? I mean, you can't because you already are very cute, right? But I still have a long way to go in the cuteness department.
Oh, you stop.
Now, unfortunately, queen d3 I think is only... Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it seems like the only move to me.
Yeah, I was going to just go absolute cuckoo and sack the entire house to demonstrate that full development has got quite a bit of value over none. But I can't really believe that this is fully justified. I would give it a whirl in blades because this is fun. But objectively speaking, I think that queen d3 may be better. Yeah, bishop e2, good. Queen e5 and now just castle. Just get out of this. Yep, very good. Yep. Whoa, 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 what? Hello? Why are we not taking this?
Yeah. I was like, maybe I should threaten the rook first, eh? And...
You hold the horses, brother. Isn't this knight threatening to take this with check?
Oh, fudge. Yeah.
Again, it's very basic tactical your due diligence. It's fine to throw in an in-between move, but then you have to check every single move by the piece that you hope to take if they respond to your in-between move, right? So you want to take this knight, but you want to throw in an in-betweener. That's fine. The first thing you do is what happens if they do not move the rook, but they try to save the knight, because that's the piece you want to take. And there's only one move that saves it. That's knight e2 check, and now we resign. Right? So again, the thinking process is the reverse of what you did. You checked every move. What happens if the rook moves? No one cares, because that's when your plan comes to fruition. We know that that's cool. You need to check what happens if they try to beat your plan, and that's not obeying it, but to try to mess with it with a knight move. Right? Like that. And that would have hurt a lot. Okay. And you had no reason to not to take, by the way, because, yeah, like, there's nothing that is hurting us really here. I quite like white, actually. We have a lot of oomph in this position. We can break with h4. We can chuck something on e5. Maybe later break with f4. There's a potential rook lift coming. It's looking very, very delicious, despite the material imbalance. I would pick white any day of the week, for sure. So you did well, but this was very, very careless. Very careless.
Gotcha.
Okay, good. Actually, let me just think here for a second if we have got some violence brewing here. I don't think we do, but it never hurts to check. So the idea of take, and queen here with the idea of mate can be thwarted by f6.
Yeah.
And then when we go bishop d3, then they have rook f7. And then when we take this, and we go in check, it seems that I sacrificed a few too many pieces. Close, but no bueno. Okay. Oh, la 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 la, friend. That cannot be right. And I believe that we've had a discussion about this last time. That every time you want to go backwards, you need to stop yourself and tell yourself, don't do that.
Really?
Yes.
I really wanted to do something with that donkey, but I didn't just find any good square.
I know.
And sacrificing.
Look,
I was like, what?
the thing is that what you are trying to do makes sense strategically, kind of, because what you are doing is you want to break with f4, correct?
Yeah.
That's why you... So if you had another move here, you would have played f4, right?
Yeah, and maybe putting the lady into the H file or something like that.
Yeah, that also does it up quite decently. The problem, my friend, here is that every single time when you are trying to execute an attacking idea and you do that with a backward move, that already should make you feel like this can't be right. Like, you are going to attack while you're doing this. And we all know that the moves that you want to follow it up with are aggressive and kind of forward moving. But the notion of attacking while going back in chess is an almost always unbeatable paradoxon that you should never attempt. And here too, you're just dying. Like, knight if I take and we're dead. And that's almost always the justification of why we don't do this, by the way. Because you abandon center. Right? Like, e5 is guarded by your knight. You abandoned it. Now they just take. The bishop goes back to g7. And that's it, man. We're done. It's game over. You will never ever have any meaningful attack on the king side anymore. So, while I agree with the idea of moving the knight in order to activate the queen slash h4, moving the knight right now is not feasible. And my favorite go-to here to soften up the king side, and I'm not even saying it's good, but my gut tells me that it would be either rook b3, bishop b4, and then something, or immediately h4. Because you definitely want to play kingside, right? So why don't we actually play a move that hurts them there? Knight e1 causes 0 threats, 0 problems to your opponent to solve, right? If you ask yourself, what problems have I caused to my opponent by going here? We very honestly have to say none. Correct? They have got now a candidate move list of 50 moves that they can pick from. You play h4, man. They've got about 5 moves at best they can pick from, and everything else loses. You now ask the question. A meaningful question. I'm threatening, brother, to take your g5 pawn twice and checkmate you. Deal with it. That's the question you're asking. When you say you play knight e1, the question you're asking is, what do you want to do? Like, feel free. Knock yourself out. Right? So we want to keep them under the pump, man. Especially when you're down in material and when you want to attack. If you want to attack, attack. Right? I'm attacking. This is an attacking move. This isn't. Right? Now, it's difficult. I know it's not easy to come up with this in a rapid context, but I like it. And after g4, now you can move the knight with a tempo. Very important. Also, now your queen can come in from this angle. We have opened up a new avenue. And yes, we are still losing this, but now I'm getting this. Tempo here, tempo here. And remember, I could do this without losing e5 altogether, because rook b3, bishop b4, h3 almost certainly is a far superior way to do the same thing. And now, good luck, Chuck, as far as the defense is concerned. I would not want to be in black shoes here at all. So please, please, please remember that going backwards is almost never is the answer, no matter what the question is. I don't care what the question is, going backwards is almost never the correct answer. Bear that in mind. Okay, tuck, tuck. Yeah, that happened in the game. I'm not quite sure what you're hoping to accomplish with this. But to be fair, your position is pretty rotten. But yeah, do you remember what you wanted here?
No, I don't remember.
Fair. I think I would have slid across the lady, as per indicated by you before. So that when, let's say, they play king h7, not that they should, but let's assume they do, you have a check here. But you also have knight f3 hitting this at the same time.
Oy.
Yeah? Obviously, king g7 is much better. So we have to be fair and honest. But then maybe I go knight d3 and then I go f4. And then I'm opening up the file again. You see, and I'm not trying to suggest that I'm doing it great. Oh, by the way, e5 is pending, so this may be iffy. But what you observe here is that there is always some kind of energy in the way how I try to organize the pieces. And they are all participating in a meaningful way. Now, this may be a bad example because, once again, e5 might actually hurt us here big time. with the queen being on prey. But even here, I can just come here. And you see, like, everybody is playing. Like, there is a genuine chance here that, especially if your opponent doesn't play well enough, they get hurt. After bishop h5, I just don't see what scenario is available here for us where we are going to be able to meaningfully hurt this guy.
Right.
Like, I just don't know what your follow-up move is after this. And this is a big pet peeve of mine, that you should never ever play a move that you don't know what you want to follow up with. I just don't, I don't see it. Maybe you did have an idea, but I'm not seeing it. Okay, let's go. Tuck. Yep, good. Yep. Yeah, I'm guessing you want to sack or something along those lines.
Yeah, eventually.
Okay. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. We are just playing hope chess here. Like, if your opponent is playing well, we're not going to win this game. That was an interesting sacrifice. Yeah. What? And you won this game 2 moves later.
I did. The thing is that I wasn't actually winning. It was kind of a draw. It was, I kind of forced my opponent to, yeah.
Okay, I am even more confused than ever. How is it a draw?
Because I think the only move that wins here is bishop d7, and then allowing the black queen to go to h7, and then how do anyone make any progress?
Holy! Now that I did not see. Hello. Yeah, wow.
I didn't see it either. I just review it later. I thought I was winning, really.
That is nuts. Wow. So queen takes queen h7 back. Holy smokes, man.
So, yeah, I was lucky that one time. I ran out of ideas and...
Yeah. I mean, on 1300 level, this is not happening, especially with limited time. But overall, we must come to the conclusion that this game featured a lot of missed opportunities. And if you don't mind me saying that, a little bit careless play in the opening. Perhaps even too fast. Like, we missed d5, we played bishop g5 without checking what happens if they hit us. And then at this point, like, this tactical blunder, it shouldn't happen on your level.
Gotcha.
That was a bit too expensive. And yeah, knight e1 was definitely an ill-conceived idea, where instead rook b3, h4 would have been much better. I like the fact that you tried to stir the pot throughout the game on the king side, and ultimately it paid off. But boy, this was definitely a lucky win rather than anything else, right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Okay. All right, next game.